Hello everyone and welcome to this new neoswing tutorial. Today I will talk about transitions between moves. Because let's be honest, if you're dancing at a party, even if you are improvising, you can't just do this. Jokes aside, since I noticed that beginners often struggle with transitions, I tried to make them as simple as possible. And that's why I came up with this idea of the universal transition that you read in the title. But before we start, let me tell you how I came up with this strange idea, because it all started with a piece of paper and a pen. First of all, I thought, well, I want to find a simple way to link all the different neoswing steps with transitions. So let's indicate a step with a dot and a transition with an arrow that links two dots. It makes sense, right? Now let's start with, 10 neoswing steps, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and let's draw some random arrows to link them all. So we end up with a diagram that looks more or less like this. Now, if you look at this diagram, well, it seems to be a solution to our problem, but in fact, it isn't. Because remember that we want to link all the different neoswing steps in order to continue dancing. While here, once we get to step F, we have no transition to other moves. And so, in theory, we should stop dancing, which is not what we want. So here we need to add at least one other arrow, for example, this one, or why not, even this one. So we draw it backwards. Anyways, as you probably already figured out, there are still a ton of legit diagrams that we can draw. For example, this one, this one, this one, and they're all good. But which one is the best? So first I thought, let's get lazy. Because every arrow that we draw is a new transition to learn. So let's draw the diagram with the least amount of arrows. Now, for mathematical reasons, if we have n moves, the least amount of arrows that we can draw to create a legit diagram is n. Because we can simply arrange the dots in a circle and we can link them like this. However, this diagram is very unpractical. Because yes, we only need to learn, in this case, 10 transitions, but on the other hand, if we want to go from move A to move G, or even worse, J, we need to get through a lot of different steps. So yeah, it is not really optimal. Then I thought, well, let's do the opposite. Let's draw a diagram that allows us to switch from every move to any other move, like this one. But, well, the point is that now we need n times n minus 1, which is, in this case, 90 different transitions. And that's a lot of transitions to learn, plus if n gets bigger, it gets even worse, so yeah, never mind. But finally I thought, wait a minute, there must be a compromise. So I came up with this idea. I said, let's draw our dots, and let's move A to the middle. Now, if we link A to every other dot, we end up with 2 times n minus 1, so 18 transitions, which is pretty manageable, and more importantly, if you want to go from any letter to any other letter, it is just 2 arrows, so it's pretty quick. Now, this idea seemed very promising, but there was still a practical problem. Because think about it. If to get from a move to another move, you have to go through a move in the middle, it is not a big deal. I mean, you can do it. But if the move in the middle is always the same, people will notice that you get through the same move every time. And it may be boring to watch. Then I thought, well, maybe if you use this move in the middle for a very short period of time, people won't notice it. But then I realized, hold up, why does this thing in the middle need to be a move? Why can't it just be an instantaneous position that you use to get from a move to another one? Because in that case, if it lasts 1 instant, people surely won't notice it. So I put step A back where it was, and I inserted this hypothetical position in the middle. Well, of course, this is all theory, so I didn't even know if a position like that existed, but after watching a ton of neoswing videos from other dancers, even from myself, I finally found a position that does the job. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is the fundamental position of neoswing dance that I decided to call knee up 45. Yep, that's it. Why knee up? Well, of course, because I'm lifting my right knee. And why 45? Because I'm not towards the audience, I'm not at 90 degrees, but I am at 45 degrees. Now, believe it or not, this position is so powerful that from this you can get to any neoswing step in just half a tempo. And I'm gonna show you how. First of all, let me get dressed. And now let's see how you can get in and out of this position from any neoswing step. Starting with the V step, well, you start from this position, which is the end position. You turn this foot around the toe and you tap the other foot. And so you do 1. Let me repeat. You are in the knee up position and you do 1. From here you can continue, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and once you are done, you do and, which is the opposite movement. So you turn this foot around the toe, and you bring this knee up. And. Now, of course, this doesn't only work for the V step, but also for every other kind of side shuffle. So if you want to do a butterfly shuffle, you do this. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and once you're done, and. For a double V step, it is exactly the same. So 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, once you're done, and. Now let's say you want to do a charleston. Well, it's not a problem. You start in this position, which is the end position. Then you turn this foot around the toe, and you tap this foot this way. Okay? So you do this. 1. Once you do it, you can do your charleston. So, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. Once you're done, you do and you're back to the knee up position. To do it, you just turn the back foot around the toe, and you lift the other one. Now, of course, this also works for the moving charleston, which is basically the same. So you start in this position, you do 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. Once you're done, and you're back to the knee up position. And of course, it also works for the X jump. So from this position, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and exactly the same. So do you understand now why I'm calling this the universal transition? That's because the only thing you have to remember is that you want to get to this position, and once you're in this position, you can basically do anything. So let's continue with the running man. Well, in the case of the running man, it is even easier because this is a step that naturally uses this knee up position. So you simply have to do this, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and as you see, you're back to this position. You can just turn a little bit more if you want to do it at 90 degrees, but that's all. And of course, if you want to do a reverse running man, well, you can do it from the regular running man, but guess what? You can also do it from here. You just do this, 1, and then you continue, and 2, and 3, and 4, and you're back to this position. But it doesn't end here. So what if you want to do a Spongebob? Well, it is a little bit more tricky, but not impossible. So you start in this position, and you do 1, let me repeat, from here you do 1, then you do your Spongebob, so and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, and when you are in this position, instead of doing this, you lift your knee a little bit and boom, knee up position. What about the reverse Spongebob? Well, that's even easier because, from this position, you just do your kick, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and guess what? Knee up position again. But let's move on, let's do some one leg shuffle, for example a T-step. So we start in this position, we turn this foot around the toe, as always, and we tap this foot more or less here. So we do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, then we get back to this position, so 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, and once you're here, well, guess what? And knee up position. What about a reverse T-step? Well, that's a little bit different because from this position you have to turn this foot around the heel, and so you do this. Let me repeat. You do 1, then you do your reverse T-step, so and 2 and 3 and 4, then we get back to the previous position, and 5, 6 and 7 and 8, and here it is usually more easy to turn this foot around the heel, so and we are back to the knee up position. And as I told you, this position is so powerful that it basically works with anything. So let me show you a couple more moves that we missed. For example, V-jump. Well, my suggestion here is, since it is hard to jump with this leg straight, just do the first one without jumping, so 1, and then all the other one jumping, so and 2 and 3 and 4, and from here, guess what? And knee up position. What about the Viconeo side kick, so this move? Well, from this position, since this starts as a reverse one leg shuffle, we turn this foot around the heel, and so we do 1, and then we do and 2 and 3 and 4, and we are back to the knee up position. Now guess what? Even if you want to do a fallback, which is this weird move, you can do it directly from the knee up position. Because from this position, you can do this, 1, let me show you again. From here, you do 1, and then you continue, so and 2 and 3 and 4, and guess what, you're back to the knee up position. And I can show you more moves, but the idea is always the same. So according to the type of move that you want to do, you have to find a way to get from this position to your move, and then back to this position. So for example, if you want to do this move, which is pretty cool, well, this looks more or less like a reverse one leg shuffle. So from this position, we do like a reverse one leg shuffle. So this foot turns around the heel, and then we do this, which is 1. Let me repeat, 1, and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, and once you're done, and. Or let's say we want to do a kickball change, which is this move, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Well, this is more or less like a normal one leg shuffle, like a T-step. So from this position, we turn this foot around the toe, and we do 1, and then we continue, and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. When we are done, we do and we get back to the knee up position. Then if we want to do a reverse crossing running man, doesn't matter, it is more or less like a reverse running man. So we start like this and we do 1, and then we continue with the steps, so and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and we're back to this position. Now to end the video, I just wanted to say that of course the universal transition is not the only possible transition that you can make. You can create a lot of other transitions that may be even cooler, but I think this one is very, very useful and very practical because it works with basically anything. Now, of course, there may be other neoswing steps that I don't know that you can't link with this transition, but I think that for a beginner, this transition is the best you can ask for. At least I wish I knew it when I was learning neoswing. So I really hope that you found this video useful. As always, if you have any questions, you can write them in the comment section. But I'd say that we're done for today. So thank you for watching and see you in the next episode.